Every morning is an opportunity to connect with Jesus. Whether you're looking to get started or looking to grow more, DDPC is for you. Join us as we connect with Jesus together.
Amen and good morning, everybody. Welcome to Daily Devotions with Pastor Chris, and I am your host, Pastor Chris. You guys are jumping on quick. God bless you. Good morning. See you, Susan and Tom and Samantha and let's see who else. Susan, Tom, Samantha, Diane, Esther, Elizabeth. God bless you. Welcome. Okay, I did make one little mistake here. I'm going to hope that my Facebook and YouTube channel stays solid. I'm on the wrong Wi-Fi, so that is my fault. So if I cut out, that's my fault, and I apologize for that. Hang on just a minute. All right. Good morning, John Cookson, Jessica Ragazine, Eileen Thoma, Cindy Wood, Carly and Papsco, Carlene Kopchek, Denise and Yvonne LeBlanc, Mike B, Narda Allen, Nancy Negron, Kimmy, Kim Sikowski, Tony Fetchy. God bless you guys. Welcome this morning to Daily Devotions with Pastor Chris. I sound a little bit quieter today. I'm a little subdued because my house was out late. If you were at church on Sunday, you know that I said that we had because of weather, we had to switch our plans for Christmas celebration dinner, and we were hosting this year, and so we ended up doing it on yesterday after church, and so it was a really long day on a Sunday. By the time we got cleaned up and got home, got in bed last night, it was very late. And so I have a sleeping house this morning, and I want to be careful not to wake people up. So that's why I am talking a little quieter this morning. Scott Dobler, good to see you this morning. God bless you, buddy. Andrew Lavish, Melissa Yarrington, thanks for being on. But we had a wonderful time with our family, so anyway, that was what it was. But we are past the Christmas season now, and I'm just glad that you guys jumped on, Julie Chandler, on this last. I believe this is the last Monday of 2021 coming to a close, and so as we talk about that, I thought, I would wrap out this year talking on the subject of reflection and the power of reflection, and why should we reflect? Because there's a lot of things that we want to forget, but there's a lot of power in in reflect. And I want to also just clarify, because sometimes I teach on moving forward and not living in the past. The past is the past. The old man is dead and gone, and that's true. However, it's good to reflect on things, because when you look back, you see how far God has brought you. And for the past 13 years, I have made a memoir every year of the events of the prior year. So what I mean is, for this year, for Christmas 2021, I put together these books. This is a picture memoir of all of our events for 2020. So I take the year, so see if I can explain this. I'm in 2021. I take all the events of 2020, put them in a memoir, and then have them at the 2021 Christmas to open, and we reflect on the year before. So it's always a year behind. But the reason for that is because if I stayed and did it up into the year, I would miss events. If we open something at Christmas in the year, that we are living it, then I'm missing all those Christmas. So what I would have, and I would have to like just change the fiscal year date of the book. But anyway, my point in all that really clunky explanation is that I put these memoirs together. I put these books together for my family, and I've done this the last 13 years in a row. And inside of those books, it encapsulates our vacation, birthdays, anniversaries, mile markers, important things, graduations, things like that. But I also put in there surgeries, disappointments, hardships, losses. There's pictures of people in those things that, man, were once part of our lives, but then they, life took us down a turn, and now they're no longer a part, and for whatever reason. And the reason I put all of that in there is so that we reflect not just on the happy, but we reflect on our life. It is a memory encapsulated in pages, in pictures, so that we can look back even at the hard times and say, wow, look how far God has brought us. Look how blessed we have been, as we are continuing to move forward as a family. And that is super important. It is absolutely important. And so I want to encourage you that in this last week of the year, to spend it in reflection. Think about 2021 and think about all the cool things that God has done in your life. Now, why is this important? Well, there's a lot of reasons, but I want to share with you from the book of Numbers, chapter 33 today. Numbers chapter 33, we see here that Moses tells the Israelites, or remembers the Israelites' travels to Canaan, and he starts the book of Numbers is a reflective book. Everything about it is a historical account of things that they went through, good, bad, and ugly. And there is a lot of it that is census driven. It's counting of the tribes and things like that. But it also keeps detailed accounts of experiences that they went through. And in Numbers 33, Moses tells the Israelites to, as they're traveling through Canaan, he gives them step by step. He details what they saw, where they camped, and what they experienced. And that amount of detail may seem insignificant, but it serves a huge purpose. Actually, many purposes. And the first thing it serves is that they're fulfilling a command of the Lord. It was God who told them to journal their journey. Numbers chapter 33, verse 2 says, "At the Lord's command, Moses recorded the stages in their journey." This is their journey by stages. And then it goes through and it just starts talking about all the things that happen, good, bad, and ugly. And so God tells Moses to record this journey because he knows that there's benefit in writing it down, or in recording it. And so, because our memories are limited, right? This is why you want to make sure you have it documented, because we're not going to remember everything. And writing events down allows us to remember how far the Lord has brought us and brings us clarity into our situations. When we get emotional in a season of life, whether it's good or bad, emotions muddy up your memory. When you are overwhelmed with joy, you can't always recall all the circumstances around that joyous occasion. You just know, I was here and that made me happy. Or if you experience a severe disappointment, and maybe you're suffering, and when you suffer a loss and you have to go into preparation mode for funeral preparations, and you're contacting people, and you're setting up, details with the funeral home and the church, and you're getting all of, making sure, whatever it is, a casket or a crema, and you go through all of those steps. There's so much detail that is rushing in at you at once, but you're in the midst of emotion, and so it muddies up your memory of all of those steps. And so emotions tend to muddy things up. So because we get caught up in the pain of a season of life, or and then we bypass the victories of it. So if you remember, in week 3 of my series Arrived, we talked about rejoicing, and it's really, really hard to reach back in your joy reservoir if you don't reflect on all the times that God has brought you through. The reason that your joy bucket is full is because you've had a reason to be joyful. And that's because God has brought you through some difficult situations. So when you journal, when you reflect, it removes the emotion of the moment, and the truth is what rises to the top. And so you don't live in a false ideology. You just remember, you actually have an accurate account of what happened despite the emotions that surrounded it. And the Lord, God, he knew that recording these events would create a legacy in the Israelites' children. The children were never going to remember their exodus. They weren't going to remember in detail the journey through the 40 years of the desert. I mean, they would remember some of it, but God was saying, you need to record this as a legacy to your children and your grandchildren so that they can look back and they can see what actually happened. And the whole reason that the Jewish people celebrate Passover today is because Moses' record keeping, his reflection, allowed future generations to see God's faithfulness in the past, which has given them hope to maintain for the future. Because he's done it before, he'll do it again. Now, understanding the history of the Jewish nation and their people was a way of passing down the faith to their children and to their children's children. So just like God had a lot to teach Moses and Israel in the desert, he has a lot that he wants to teach us during every stage of our lives. So as we are sliding out of 2021 and we're going into 2022, I want to encourage you to just spend some quiet time with God. There's a time and a season for everything, right? We know that in scripture, but spend some time reflecting on just how good God has been. Go through and write down, journal, or make an audio recording, or draw pictures, or go back in your photo reel and do something like what I did. And just spend time reflecting on how good God has been. And it really isn't that hard. Just getting alone and asking God to remind you of how faithful he has been. I assure you that his miracle working hand has been upon you as close as yesterday. So we just don't even recognize all the things that God has done. So take some time to reflect this week. And allow the Lord to fill your heart with thanksgiving, because when you get on the other side of that time of reflection, you will say, you know what? God has been so good to me. And so that's what I have for you today. I want to encourage you, beginning Sunday, we're going to start our week of prayer. Sunday marks the first Sunday of the new year, and we will have a night of prayer every night. Sunday through Friday, and we have a different pastor that's hosting and leading every evening, and the format's going to be a little bit different every evening, and so it's just going to be a time. Some of the prayer services will be very worship full in praise and thanksgiving, and some will be very contemplative and reflective, while others will be just very, very solitude and quiet, and still others will be a time of petitioning and crying out to Lord, and other times just a great time of healing and so I encourage you to come out, to our week of prayer evenings. It'd be a great time just to pray together. I do hope that you will join us. And you know what? Bring a journal. Wouldn't it be wonderful if we started this next year doing exactly what God instructed Moses to do, and we just begin to journal the year every day. Just write down a couple of thoughts of what God has done, the highs and the lows in it. And then when you get to this time next year, you're going to see that God has been very faithful to you, and that his blessings has been new every morning, and great is his faithfulness. So that's what I have for you today. I pray that you have an awesome start of your week, and that you enjoy every moment. So again, forgive me for my subdued voice, just trying to keep the house a little quieter today as I have sleeping children. Okay. All right, guys. God bless you. Love you. And I will see you tomorrow. God bless.